We're making dinner. It's going to be the easiest dinner ever. And we're going to start off with the rice. Hold on. I don't know where our pots and pans are. I forgot. I cleaned them because we got some different ones. And they need to be clean. Look at that, baby. Ooh, so nice. And it even comes with like the measuring in there. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Good morning, my pineapple. Looking very good, very nice. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. Body of a young man, but on your face, big disgrace. Okay. Hi. We're cooking today. We're making beans, rice, and sausage, and mustard greens. This is just a canned meal. It's easy, it's quick. That's what we're going for. Okay. I'm gonna do 1 cup of rice.
This summer, Dollar Mountain, 3 more Lucky Rewards Club members will become millionaires during our biggest giveaway of the year. Give away to it all at Choctaw Casino and Resort Durant.
to move y'all this way so y'all can see what's going on. Jeez. Maybe that's too much. Hold on. I changed my mind. There we go. And we'll do that.
The defense was there. We have got overtime in game one. Oh, what a steal to Bridges. In a congested corner, he somehow took it out. Inside. And the foul. 4.5 for overtime. Oh, it goes to Orlando. 18 minutes there. In the corner, Bridges. It's a 6-point New York lead in overtime. White throws inside. Tatum got it. 4-point lead. Onto a make-a move. On the fly. Towns. Towns tips it in. Carl Anthony Towns with 14 points. Flying rebound. Pulled down by Holiday. It's out to Brown. He's open for three. It's Bryson for Holiday. Now the hard shot clock at 2. It's for three. Off. Rebound White. Boston down by 3.
We can do rice and broth. Brown rice takes so long to cook. It's ridiculous. Like, it's literally gonna take 45 minutes to make this rice. I'm sick. This is all the rice we've got right now. So,
Buick. Exceptional by design. Get 0.9% APR on these Buick models. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get up to $3,000 allowance on Encore GX.
don't judge my butter. What should I make with that fajita back on there? Tacos? Or is that what I use in the lazy girl dinner? Right? I don't know. I think this is what I mean, I think I should use this for the lazy girl dinner.
What does a spectrometer
I can make that.
And when was your SAV?
The lineups look like this with Curry, Patinsky, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. No Gary Payton II. He is out tonight. Illness. Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, and then Thompson, Dylan Brooks, and Alfred Şengün. They come to starting 5. For the Houston Rockets, this is a team with 5 players in their rotation, age 23 or younger, many of which in their first playoff series. Stephen Curry, he has done a lot of damage in the playoffs, in the finals, in Game 7s. He's been one of those Game 7 performers the NBA has had. Jimmy Butler's been in 4 Game 7s himself, but his first run with Draymond Green and Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Drop his height. We wrap up the first round tonight.
Okay.
We are so looking forward to bringing it to you here on TNT.
While we're waiting for that to boil,
Tony Brothers, James Williams.
we're gonna go ahead and. How many sausages should I make? Huh? How many sausages should I make? Huh? Beans, rice, and sausage. How many did I use last time? 4?
Looking for college, if you found one
It's-
somewhere that would push me.
5?
Allow me to kind of be the person.
Everyone here kind
I don't know. You want me to boil them though, right?
of seeing the next person. Yeah. And I think that just creates a similar spirit.
When you find the beauty in service, what I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be who you think, you don't have to be who people think you are. Like come to something that you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you're meant to be.
Okay.
Williams, Kevin Scott, 3 no-nonsense officials, not afraid to hand out technicals, and all 3 have officiated in the NBA Finals. Here we go. Houston controls the opening tip, and away we go in game.
Okay.
How we doing, Oklahoma State?
Gonna fill this with water.
And we have the national champion. Wyatt, everybody, give it up, the national champion. How you guys doing? Wow, I've been saying it for the past 7 to 8 months. Stillwater is a special place, and you guys proved that today. You guys are awesome. One of the greatest upsets in the history of wrestling. They didn't even do the odds for what Wyatt did at the national championship and made Oklahoma State proud in so many different ways. And so, Wyatt, God bless you, man. America is back, and God bless you, Wyatt. Thank you, man. Everybody, you guys know the rules. I'm going to sit here, take questions for a little bit. You disagree, you go to the front of the line. And it's not too windy. I've never had it where I throw the hats and it comes back at me. I thought you guys were throwing the hats back at me, but it's Oklahoma
We
State.
gotta
You
wait
wouldn't
for
do
this
that,
to
but,
turn into a rolling boil.
And by the way, this is a much bigger crowd than I would have got at OU. I have to say, much bigger crowd. Not allowed to say that, but whatever. All right, then let's get started. You guys know the rules. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Say, I'm gas.
Before I think it's really nice, it's an honor to meet you. After like hearing about you for maybe like 5 years growing up, and like hearing all the negativity about you, I'm like, it's an honor to be here to get to meet you because I've always been a believer in like listening to what other people have to say. And I just want to ask you a question. Do you like the new name for the body of water that was formerly called the Gulf of Mexico?
The Gulf of America.
Alright. Alright. Do you also agree with the renaming of the mountain in Alaska that is known as either Mount McKinley or Denali? Do you agree of Donald Trump's renaming, or I should say President Trump's renaming of that back to Mount McKinley?
I'm generally sympathetic. I can see where you're probably going with this line of questioning. We'll see how astute you are.
No, I'm just curious to see what your opinion is.
Well, that's fine. There's a, no, it's okay. There's a good question you could ask that would be pretty strong.
Live.
It's
YouTube
the
live.
name. I'm planning to become a teacher,
Yeah.
so
No, it's fine. Maybe you're not going for this one.
yeah. If it says Golf of America, I'll play Golf of America, Golf of Mexico, just the golf, whatever it is.
Well,
It's
they're watching me
amazing.
cook right now.
I'm sure you hear
And all they said so far is, hi.
what is now today Hurricane Harbor. I'm sure some of y'all still call it
Well, they don't say,
so
they kind of type
I
it.
hate to think.
And I say it
I
back.
was just curious about that. Opinion on that. It's a pleasure to meet you, Charlie. And
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
glad that I
Huh?
can come out to meet you.
Thank you. Let me just say one thing. A name is a
You're
name.
so
A name should reflect meaning. And so if a name fails to reflect meaning,
Okay, do you think that's a rolling boil or is that a boil
many of
boil?
our ancestors, their last name would
When I
actually
think
be their
rolling,
profession,
I think
the tribe that they were part of. For example, Abraham.
That's my last name.
The mustard
My last name
greens?
translates to free person.
I don't know, it says seasoned already.
So Abraham means father of nations. Moses,
I
for
thought
example,
so.
means
I don't
Lord
know
of
if you
water
thought
or
so.
redeemer. Jacob means
That's the real question.
born early by the field or usurper. Isaac means laugh because Sarah laughed at the idea of having him. So names actually truly mean something, and I love this idea of bringing naming back to meaning. It's not just semantics. Semantics are all meaning. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Congrats, Wyatt.
And you go like, why you ain't hold on?
It would be a fucking kitchen.
And you can be down.
Is it okay if I record this to myself?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So, my name is Jacob Marwood.
Is this giving rolling boil?
I have a lot of friends who
Is it giving?
from illegal immigrants.
I don't know. But I know I need to put this up because we're not using it.
The 14th Amendment, which allows
Or
birthright
are we?
citizenship.
Yes, I do. I don't think it's going to hold up, but I do believe that the 14th Amendment was.
I was gonna put the beans in here with like once this is boiled. I was gonna put the beans in here.
Slavery, and then their
But then we'll need an
children
extra
would then have
thing.
birthright citizenship, and that's
But
the point.
slaves were.
I'm not gonna lie. I might rinse this out to put the
Their
collard
birthright
greens.
citizenship after they were brought here forcibly, and then
Yeah, but then the kids of citizens are kids though.
what is
Are citizens.
what is the difference in immigrants 100 years ago coming here and having children here to immigrants coming here legally now?
Well, slaves are a completely different moral category than someone who breaks into your country, right?
Okay, what about Chinese immigrants 100 years ago coming here illegally and then?
It's wrong then and it's wrong now, for sure. Both.
But then why would people
We
here?
tried. I mean, we tried to get rid of this for quite some
Why
time.
agree with it then, though? Like, what's changed?
Is this giving rolling boil
What's changed now?
or is it giving
I
boil?
mean, nothing's necessarily changed except you think the interpretation.
Oh wow, it's crazy. This looks
It's
pink.
not clear whether or not that means children of U.S. citizens or if it means
But
a foreigner.
in real life it's
who's
red,
pregnant
I promise.
and their kid magically
I don't know
gets a
why it
US
looks pink,
birth
but I'm here for it.
We are one of the only countries in the industrialized world that has birthright citizenship. One of the few. And so, for example, there are tens of thousands of babies born every single year in America of women from China or from Vietnam that get pregnant in Vietnam and China. At about 7 months, they get on a plane, they land and have their baby in America, and that baby gets a U.S. citizenship. I think that's insane. I think it's crazy that you can get on a plane, be pregnant in another country, be a citizen of another country, come here, and then your kid also.
Stir lightly, bringing to a rolling boil.
That's the meaning of U.S. citizenship.
I still don't agree with you, but I have to find a way to change your mind.
It's all good.
I did actually, I have one more question after I would be asked. He said, would you still be a white supremacist if you were in a more diverse work field?
So do you think I'm a white supremacist?
I have no idea if you're a white supremacist. My dad has watched a lot of you. He said, if you weren't out here preaching hate and working on three pointers, you would probably be better at that.
I'm not able to justify. You should be ashamed of your father.
I'm definitely not. My father's an amazing man.
Yeah,
He cares about American citizens.
your father
and all
peddles
their rights.
lies. I'm not a white supremacist. Honestly, shame on him. For someone that runs an organization called Brexit, do you know what Brexit is? It's literally we employ 40 black Americans that work in Atlanta, Chicago, and Philadelphia, trying to improve the well-being of
Okay. Okay. That's down to a simmer. My son is tripping. You think he's still hungry? Brown rice takes so long for no reason. Why you fussing? Why are you fussing?
I want him older. That's what
I don't think. You know what? Actually, supposedly around this time, babies start to get bored.
Boy.
Yes. So they get fussy because they want more entertainment.
Oh, so now. See,
We are not
I'm
the-
bored.
We are not the slaves. Anyway. Oh, you want me to toast it for you?
I'll entertain my master.
Really?
Hey, master. What you want to do, master?
I'm gonna have to watch this bread because I turned my head for 2 seconds. My bread was so burnt.
Sit down for me.
So gone are the days that you just feed him until he goes to sleep. He be up during the day. And he be wanting to chit chat. It would have been nice if he would have. We could have went for a walk. What, this? You think it's ready?
No. Buffalo team. Like,
That's saying a lot.
I never mind.
You got a little butter. That's enough, right?
You really kept it.
You could do something with that.
Hell.
You could do something. I never looked in it. That's why. You could have scraped that butter.
You can stop the breed. That's what a peanut butter does. You just gotta chill and all that.
You said you. Well, put him in his rocker. Oh my gosh. And I used to think that I was not fine enough. Oh. Where's that bottle? And I used to think that I was not fine.
Where's the
Boy, he's big. There's peanut butter on the trolley, and then there's that peanut. Ooh, you can't see. There's two
No,
peanut
that's the one I
butters.
live for.
You want the honey peanut butter?
No.
It's delicious. Hold on.
Let me get my bread. Don't mind.
Oh, you want me to pass to you?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, hold on. I got a screaming baby on the loose.
What we not doing?
What to say, don't we? You got two jellies. The fact that you're having a snack while you wait for your meal is great. I got two hungry boys. Two. Hungry one and hungry two. Oh my gosh, for Halloween, can y'all be thing one and thing two? And I be the cat in the hat? Yeah. Let me do it. Come on. Let me have my fun. Okay, well, whenever you come back over here, let me know.
City Black America? What has your father ever done for inner city Black America other than call me a white supremacist? And by the way, secondly, it's just so ridiculous. It's like, it's not.
Companies or whatever you do,
So
it's
if you-
not make you a
So,
white
what
supremacist.
is a white supremacist?
A white supremacist is somebody who takes advantage and believes that they are higher than everybody
How,
else.
do I believe that?
I have no idea.
That, okay, exactly. And so there's no evidence whatsoever, and yet people go around sloppily saying, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist. It is so destructive to our dialogue, it's destructive to us coming together as a country, and there's nothing to support it whatsoever. So thank you for your time. Shame on your father for peddling that crap. Why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? I mean, look around. Most people feel stuck, overwhelmed, and exhausted, trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. And if you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. Student I did it called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 2 years ago. I lost 40 pounds, but it doesn't even fit anymore. I feel great and I haven't gained a pound back. Food I did and make nutrition a top priority.
I don't know if it's gonna happen this week, but
Schedule your weight loss consultation. Click the link in the description.
we
below
need to make
to
this
get
Mexican
free
hot chocolate.
added to your weight loss package.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to our city today. It means a lot from, I know, a lot of my peers, but also me as well. I kind of don't have a question for you, more of words of advice. As someone who's fixing to graduate college, I've been studying political journalism. It's been, ever since I was a little girl, that's been my main goal, is to become a political journalism. I just started an
Journalist.
internship actually to start off with shadowing political journalists and everything. And I was super excited for it. I thought it was going to be my start to my journey of success. When I have come to find out majority of my peers and mentors or people I even looked up to in the office that I work at in the news station, they have told me since I'm a Republican, Christian, young woman that I probably won't succeed. And as someone who I've spent my whole life researching, dedicating my life to studying this, it's been very hard for me to continue to want to go into this field when I keep getting put down by the people that I look up to for, one, my gender, and then two, even my Republican Party for my morals. So I kind of just wanted to ask you, like, I know you see so much and you read so much about yourself, like, what keeps you to keep going and gave you that motivation to keep speaking your truth with your morals?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, you will succeed in journalism if you just outwork the other people. Secondly, there's a lot of these journalists, they're not going to have jobs in 5 to 10 years. I mean, media is changing in real time. My advice to you is, first and foremost, there's a ton of communication directors' jobs for senators and congressmen. There's local news stations and more conservative ownership. You'll figure that out.
Yeah.
You have to silence and mute the noise and know what you are good at and follow your skill regardless what people are saying, and then say yes to every single opportunity. If you outwork everybody as an intern, that will be noticed, that will then be rewarded regardless of your political affiliation. And honestly, all that opposition should only make you want to fight harder,
Yeah.
will make you stronger, and will make you a better person in your career in the future. So, God bless you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Charlie.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, I am a Republican student at the University of Central Oklahoma. I have a liberal family, and it's not always easy, but I was going to ask you about immigration. So I know that we don't have an obligation to help Mexico, but is there incentives to help Mexico to make America better? And if so, what policies that we can support that would help that?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first
Hour moisturizing body wash with new heavenly scents, luxurious cocoa butter and vanilla, peach and orange blossom, and night jasmine and walnut. Clean 24-hour moisturization isn't a myth, it's native.
Midway USA has just about everything for hunting.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy's ready to drive you forward. Pure power unleashed and future-forward technology. Every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Once we get to about 20 minutes left, we're going to get the beans going, and we're going
question.
to.
The first way that we can help Mexico.
The sausages are almost done boiling, so then after that we're going to cut them up. And I'm about to turn this on. I'm gonna put it on 2, the burner. Oh wait, not yet. We still got like 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
5
that's a
more
good
minutes.
question. The first way that we can help Mexico
The
is to
sausage
find the
should be
most
done.
possible, which is to eliminate the drug cartels. And
The sausage should be done, and then the rice is still gonna have 20 more minutes, but that gives us time to assemble everything. So
Mexico is basically controlled by 9 families.
we are
And most
just
importantly, the Sinaloa
awaiting.
drug cartel, which you guys might think that that's a foreign, distant problem. Almost everybody in this audience has probably lost a friend to fentanyl or someone that deals with hard drug use. Almost all of that is produced by the Sinaloa drug cartel and is trafficked right up into communities. in
Also,
Oklahoma.
I'm going to link
So that's
some
good. We can help Mexico
stainless
not to give them
steel.
money or just cash. We've given them hundreds of billions of dollars for the last
I'm
30
gonna link
years.
the stainless
best thing I
steel
think we could do is targeted military strikes against the
down
Sinaloa drug
below,
cartel
and I'm going
and
to
liberate them
link
from their current captivity. Secondly,
what is
though,
it called?
they're actively
I'm gonna
threatening
link
our
a
country.
cutting board
And that's
down
the first
below
question we
as
got from
well.
guys. What do you mean you're being invaded?
It's a
We
wood
are
one
in an active, hostile,
because
combatant
you know we're
conflict
trying to
with the Sinaloa drug cartel.
have
What do you call
better
it when
quality
100,000
things,
of your
use
own
better
people die of
quality
drug overdosing
things.
on foreign-made
So,
drugs that are being
putting
purposefully
that out
pumped
there.
into your communities? That's a poisoning of the country. And yes, everyone has agency and they make decisions, but they make it, first and foremost, a lot of people overdose now on drugs, thinking they're taking a much lower level recreational drug that is less effective. Now, you shouldn't do any drugs, guys, obviously, but unfortunately, we are seeing the intentional destruction, especially of working age young men in this country. The drug epidemic disproportionately is taking out young men in this country. And so that's what I think we should do to try to help Mexico. Thank you, appreciate it, thank you. We'll take a couple more, any disagreements can come up.
For gun rights, and I'm totally against guns. Reason why some people need guns. And we can both agree that the one thing to get guns in your hands, but in some states you don't need a background check for some guns. My question is, what law do you think should be passed to prevent guns?
It's a good question. Let me ask you where you're coming from. Do you believe owning a gun is a right or a privilege? So I think it's a right, and that's okay. Let me tell you why. I believe the right for a free people to be able to defend their family from foes.
Once they start floating, they're done, right?
Government potentially going after them.
Once they start floating, they're done, right?
Yeah, given by government. You do not have a free society. You can't have an armed society. That's true. So, but let me ask you a question as far as the laws, just so we can think more clearly about this. You say you're against guns. Why does it make sense then that we guard our sports stadium and our banks and our airports with guns? Are you against guns, the technology, or are you against the people that use guns to evil? Right, so maybe it's much more of a brokenness of humanity problem or a sin problem, not the actual tool itself. Yeah, so the laws, I mean, we already have federal laws on the books. But honestly, I think we should have less gun laws, not more. I know people disagree with this, but I'd like to respond because it's a right. People should be able to protect themselves as they see fit. In states that generally have more guns, not less guns, like Houston, yes, we do have some gun guns around inner city gangs, but violent crime tends to go down. And so I don't want to disarm peaceful law and order just because some people have used that to do that. And so when we look at gun cases, two-thirds of them are gun cases. Okay, so the vast majority of the gun deaths that are related, that are the ones in the remainder, are individuals in gangs, inner cities, that use guns in kind of gang violence. So really quickly, what is your issue with guns? We just disagree. I think that you should be able to own a firearm and protect yourself. The minute that the government over-involves itself in the selection process of who can own guns
Okay.
and who can own firearms,
Now
start
we
running
can get it
major issues.
popping.
We will
This,
cease to be a free people if we are not Americans. And thank you very much.
and we can turn off the back burner for now.
My name's Jared, I'm a mechanical
And I'm gonna
engineer.
put butter in this. I'm gonna spray it and then butter it. Doing it all.
But I disagree with
And I'm
some
gonna
of
pull out
Trump's actions, and I wanted to
my seasonings as well. How did I get this one?
Our AP News from
so.
the White House, their disagreement about the
Olive oil.
Gulf of Mexico.
And I'm gonna use
And I feel like that's a
salt,
violation
pepper.
of the freedom of press, and I just wanted to know what your opinion on that was.
Yeah,
use
sure.
white
So
pepper.
they didn't call them accomplishment. He simply, being in the White House press corps is a privilege, not a right. So, for example, not every blog or publication gets to the White House press corps. I'm not in the White House press corps, I gotta like tell the president if I get that thing, right? So it's a privilege. The White House has every right to be able to say, hey, you're not acting a certain way, or you are not reporting things that are factually or accurate, then you're not allowed. That was a bubbling up problem with AP. It was like 10 different instances, and it just kind of hit a crescendo point. But it's not violation of freedom of the press in the sense where they weren't like, hey, you're not allowed to publish articles.
And
that
then
say
I'm about to drain the
Think of it this way.
sausage.
This,
I'm gonna push you guys
some guy with a bullhorn shows
back.
up and starts heckling you, right? And hey, we spent money for this and security and for all this. Do we have a right to kindly say, hey, let us do our event? Of course we do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree that it's perfectly legal to do that. I think it's, I really like the law.
First things first, we're gonna put the beans
I disagree
in.
with articles from African News Source, right? I think they more moderate, right? So I disagree with CNN, I disagree with Fox News, right? It just depends.
Hey Charlie, what's up? Can you hear it? Alright. Hi Charlie, my name is Taylor Patel. I'm a junior here at Oklahoma State. I bleed orange, family,
Salt, pepper.
So I do finance, and this was the first election, or the election we just had, 77 million votes, baby. Let's go. You should clap for that, probably. Okay, so this election was the first election that I've got to vote in, and I was proud of who I voted for, and I don't think I have to say who I did, because I think it's pretty obvious. But I think America has a kind of existential problem going on. Can we be considered a democracy or a constitutional republic if we only have two parties to vote for, really?
Yes, I think the existential crisis is different though. I think that the bigger issue is whether or not we could be I think we're a republic, not a democracy. That's a separate issue. If an unelected group of judges can stop a president with a nationwide injunction from doing what he told the voters he would do, that's a major problem. That is the local nationwide injunction issue is the greatest existential crisis.
Salt.
So the question of more parties is always brought up. We do have libertarian parties, we have independent parties, but if the Democrats want to splinter themselves, why should the Republicans splinter themselves?
They should, really.
Pepper.
Yeah, so it's kind of a deadlock. And I have a lot of problems with the Republican Party, but it's the lesser of two evils.
That's kind of what a lot of people, I think young people think of when they go to vote, is that it's the lesser of two evils. Whether Democrat or Republican, which one makes more sense for them, who benefits their family, whether instead of thinking of the whole country as a whole. But then there's this middle ground, this America that doesn't have a voice. People who are moderate or independents, who don't feel that either party will give them a proper say in our government, so they choose not to vote at all. What would you say to those people who probably
This
didn't
one we're
vote in this last
dumping.
election or in any election,
We're
but they
draining
can
it.
vote to vote, really?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, it's a good question. In this last election, I mean, Donald Trump had two people that ran for the presidency as Democrats in his cabinet, Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard.
And we're gonna
It's never
use this
happened before in
again
American history. He's bringing
as
people
well.
from the other party
Hello.
actively onto his team.
We're gonna use
and
this
into his
again
team.
to
So I think that's much more
warm
of a unique
up.
party. But my message would be, look, you have to weigh both of the options, vote your values. and
Collard greens.
I believe that the conservative movement is a much better place for people that believe in free speech, common sense, borders, and hands off our kids. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I just have one last thing to
Yeah.
say, and it's a little cheeky, but will you sign the hat?
Thank you. Yes.
You think I should really season these?
Fair rates, no hidden fees, unbeatable customer service. It's time for some new energy.
Hold on. Ah. Oh my gosh.
They need to be better than the competition.
Empty.
Space, pressure.
We run 24/7, constantly.
I think we're gonna put this on low, or maybe even right here. And
Biggest club tournament in the world is down to the final four. I can't wait to watch it all live with you and a few of my closest friends. Stream the UEFA Champions League semi-finals on the Betting and Friends live show on Paramount Plus.
okay. I'm gonna cut all these up.
Hi, my name is Logan. I'm deaf, and I'm honored to be here to have this opportunity to speak to you today. It's really interesting debate so far, and I've learned a lot. But my question for you is, do you believe everyone in this crowd has equal access to information? Should they have that?
Well, first of all, I think the translators are doing a great job keeping it up for them. That's not easy. So, and especially with all the back and forth. Ideally, of course, yes. But I will say that some people in this audience, for example, would love to see the entire thing, but they're not up close. But I'm really glad that you're able to have a translator that can make you as possibly part of this event. And so I think, and they're doing a great job.
Yes, thank you for being positive and saying stuff like that. But in California, when there was the wildfires happening, you posted something on social media that said that a person should not be interpreting on the screen. You should get them out because they're a distraction. And I lost a lot of respect for you that day.
Yeah, that's fine.
You said that closed caption works for everybody, right? But you have to understand that American Sign Language is a critical point for the deaf community to access a language. And the entire deaf community lost a lot of respect for you. You said, get the interpreters off the way, that's a distraction. But you just said everybody should have a right to equal access to information.
Okay.
So, what do you believe about that?
Right, so I've had a couple very respectful deaf people come up to the event. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I was educated on the difference between ASL and closed captioning, and that some deaf people don't actually even, it's a first or primary language, meaning closed captioning might not relate to it. I don't want to dwell too much on it. I even said to somebody at USC, she might have changed my mind, so never meant to offend you. It wasn't meant in that way. I did a whole show on it. Be happy to send that to you so you could view it. But thank you for your commentary on that. And look, that's fine.
But deaf people have already changed their views on you. You look like you are against people with disability. You're an artist. So first, we really appreciate you and coming in social media and being included in closed captioning. We do appreciate that portion. And everybody should be more inclusive as well. But also having the interpreters, you have to understand that American Sign Language, through its history in the United States, has said Abraham Lincoln was involved in it. I mean, everybody was involved and has multiple years, hundreds of years of discrimination, trying to get rid of American Sign Language. And this information is vital to our community. And yeah, you're right, closed captioning is great. And it's allowed interpreters to speak live. When the wildfire that happened, and the people commented on it, oh, no, we have wildfires here too. It's super important to make sure that we're getting information because you're going to see it live. You have to understand that.
Okay, got it. I will say though that during the wildfire, I think there were interpreters, but point taken, happy to learn more about it. Thank you for the respectful information, and I meant no offense to you, and thank you for being here. And thank you again for our great translation.
Can I say something to the crowd as well, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I want to thank you so much for letting the deaf people come in here and having access as well. But as you can see, there's an ASL group over here. They're signing right now, and I don't mind. Would you mind looking at the ASL group? You have a second to put your head around? Right there, right behind you, literally right behind you. A little bit more
Disagreements, guys, are welcome to work your way to the front. Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Kirk. My name's Max. You aware that today is April Fool's Day?
Wow. This is just sausage with a side of beans.
I'm also aware that it's April Fool's Day, and I have an opinion of somebody who's a fool. I think you would agree with it. Somebody who worships the creation rather than the creator. Like Romans 1, that's what's on my sign. Yeah, let's let everybody see it. I do have a point though. As a Christian, I want to see everyone here's heart turn from the creation to the creator. Maybe they're worshiping themselves, but I want to see them turn to the creator. And I think you think something similar. When I look at the New Testament, I see that the way that's going to come about is through preaching the gospel, right? But I also want society to change. So, my question for you is more of an advice question. As a Christian who wants to see the world change through the death and resurrection of Jesus, how much of my effort should be put towards preaching the gospel? And how much of it should be spent lobbying for policies? What's more effective? Maybe it's not an either or thing, but I think a lot of times, especially conservative Christians will take the policies without ever telling anybody about Jesus.
Well, we need both, right? So first and foremost, thank you. Everyone should give their life to Jesus. It's the most important thing that anybody could do in your life.
Okay.
We have seen a
This is
hyper-feminist
done.
gospel the last 20 or 30 years.
This
That's a big problem. We need a resurgence of
is
a masculine
warming.
gospel, which is one that
It should
is
be
unafraid
ready
of the consequences
in like
of
7
sin.
minutes.
How-
And then
right, with sin and how-
this,
so we
we're still
talk
waiting
about
on the
a savior.
rice. The
But
rice
how can you
is
possibly, when you need a
taking
savior,
its
you don't
time.
talk about sin? And so how do you know the
Ouch.
savior if you don't know what you're being rescued from? And so we need to instruct and talk about how we all, for all, myself included, all of us, on a daily basis fall short of the glory of God. We are violating many of the 10 Commandments almost every single day. And we need Jesus to save us from our wretched, depraved, natural nature of being broken. So what does that mean for you? Well, we need all parts of God. First of which, I believe in Galatians 3, it says that the law is a guardian or a school teacher to Christ. That for some people, they are going to come to Christ by first thinking through conservative values and principles and seeing it make sense. And once they start drinking from the streams of liberty, they're going to want to find its source. Because liberty is not man's idea, liberty is God's idea. And for other people, though, it's outright preaching the gospel. Here's my last piece of advice, though. Do not just preach the gospel and try to get converts of all nations. We are called to make disciples of all nations, which means you must go deep. You must preach the entirety of the Word of God. Every word. You must be expositional in the way that you do it. But you must make people understand that there is a judgment coming for all of them. There's a God who loves them, that sent his son on a rescue mission to save us from that. And it's not just all rolling hills and lovey-dovey messaging.
I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. God bless you. Thank you. Are any disagreements can work their way to the front? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Charlie. My name's Akash Patel, and I drove an hour and a
Akash
half.
Patel?
Yes.
You're the FBI director.
With the name.
Oh, okay.
It's AKASH, and
The FBI director.
I'm an educator. I'm a college instructor. I don't know if you get very many of those to come up here.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay. Well, I drove an hour and a half from Norman, and I want to just talk about. Okay. I didn't go to school in Norman. Okay. Well, so I just want to talk about my turning point and ask you a question because I used to be on the center left, and I'm on the center right. And I'll tell you why. It was a few years ago I was elected as the president of the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. I'm a Spanish instructor, and these organizations have become so woke that the first thing that I was tasked with was a majority vote of 14 members were deciding if they need to cancel the contract of a small Mormon business that sells textbooks. This is the party that is against book banning and wanted to cancel the contract of a small business person who's a Mormon because the Mormon founder made a donation against gay marriage 15 years ago. Because this guy right here stood up against it, I faced retaliation. They stripped me off my duties as the president, but despite all of those odds, I was able to demand for the resignation of the executive director who makes over $400,000 a year pushing ideological indoctrination on the left and restore the contract of that small Mormon business. Now, this is not an isolated incident, Charlie. This is happening in nonprofits all across the country. And I'm so pleased President Trump is doing something like this one that I ran has a budget of over $25 million, gets hundreds of thousands of dollars in government funding, gets stripped of their government funding for pushing this kind of ideological extremism.
Give us the name, I'll give it to Elon and Doe.
I'm gonna let
All right, I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Akash. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this shows all the stuff we have to cut, Akash? Is that right?
Yes.
All right, I'll give it right to you.
Yeah, and that's
All right.
got my address too.
We're gonna cut this baby
Yeah,
really
well,
quick.
the other thing, just quickly, the other thing they also push, we have an annual convention of over 10,000 educators. They pushed a policy that they're gonna deny convention contracts to convention centers in cities with anti-trans legislation. Talk about it, they're serving teachers across the country that teach languages to students all across the country. So, please, do something
We're
about
on
it.
it. Thank you, Akash.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Charlie.
2 minutes. Okay.
I have a small disagreement with you. But this is just a question. In the past,
I've got a bone to pick with you.
an idea of having a more secular governmental structure to believing that there should be more religiosity in government. While obviously that's working for the Republican Party, I was wondering if you think long term that's going to continue to, if you believe that's going to continue to be an effective political strategy, because
2 minutes.
I mean, if you're
And
looking
then
at
we're gonna
research, there's
Give it 5 minutes to
way
stand.
more students
and then
of
fluff
our
it.
age and lower becoming non-religious than there are, new religious citizens of the United States.
You want a plate or a bowl?
Political strategy, I care about what's right. And I will say though that
Brent,
church attendance is actually slightly
you want a
going up.
plate or a
Young
bowl?
men are moving back to Christianity in massive numbers in this country, so keep
Okay.
that trend going. But yes, there are 3 documents when paired together show the Christian essence and nature.
This is
The
taking
first
so
is the Mayflower
long.
Compact, which is our birth certificate.
This
and
is supposed to
then
be
our
quick and
Declaration of
simple.
Independence, and then our
Where is the quick?
Constitution. Those 3
Where is the
documents
simple?
together show the Christian basis of the United States of America. And look, I do not want a theocracy. I want a free society. I think if you want to reject God on your terms, you should absolutely have the agency and the ability to do that. I do not believe, though, in a separation of morality and state. At every corner, people are going to make calls or judgments. What is good or what is evil, what is right or what is wrong. And I believe that Scripture should inform that. I believe that Scripture will has informed Western morality and should continue. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this will be the last question. Anyone disagree? All right, you got a Hillsdale shirt on, man. Yes.
Okay, so
Then we'll do one more disagreement.
I'm a sophomore in high school. I attend the Catholic class of Christian Studies in Oklahoma City. And I just have one question. I have an Oklahoma history teacher who's been trying to tell me in our class that we should feel guilty for what our ancestors did. How would you respond to that?
Well, is this at a classical school? Is it a Hillsdale school?
No, it's not, doesn't have anything to do with Hillsdale, but it's a private Christian.
So now we gotta let that sit for 5
You should never
minutes.
feel guilty for something you didn't do. Very simple Christian principle, okay? That neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, we are all one in Jesus Christ. You are not responsible for your father's sins. You're not responsible for your grandfather's sins. You and you alone have to atone in front of the seat of Jesus Christ in eternity. This is a Christian principle that gets distilled in. You should not have to apologize to somebody just because you look like that somebody, nor should you be given favor because somebody did something very good
Bowls.
100 years ago. Yes.
Grabbing them. Complete. Life-changing encounter.
You better not be using all the old spices.
4 more minutes and then we can start bowling, plating, whatever.
It was I to compare hundreds of thousands at once. I looked at the thing myself. No machine is better than me.
Kayak, circle
one and done.
All right, everybody, who's ready for a little bit of prove me wrong disagreement? And I brought the big Ramaswamy.
Big fans. You guys be running for president, right? Oh, that's just great. I've got a question that I think has been on everybody's mind while I really speak to the people here. I just want to say, like, what do y'all think? Unlimited bacon or no games, or unlimited games, no games?
All right, next question. Next, trolls will not be tolerated. Thank you very much. You know, yes, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a hat? No, yes. Thank you.
Charlie, you stated that you're not into criminalizing the mother for an abortion. Why is that? Like, how can we make a law that has no consequences?
Well, there's two parts of this, right? The first of which is no person should advocate for retroactive enforcement of something that was once legal to then make illegal. We can agree with that, right?
Right.
No matter what the law is, you cannot claw back. For example, if all of a sudden the government says you can't have a public assembly like this, and that is effective tomorrow, they can't go back today and put us all in prison, right? So that's number one, retroactive. Number two, my heart goes out to women that have abortions.
Right.
Because they're lied to and manipulated. And it's based on one very simple medical principle, the lack of informed consent. I do not believe women, largely when they get abortions, know what they're doing. They're not given ultrasounds for their baby. They're not informed of the gruesome and graphic details surrounding their procedure. Instead, the justice system should be focused on the abortionists that are actually doing that procedure. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess, but the person also committing the crime, like killing her baby, I feel like should also be held responsible. Like, how can we ban abortions and the mom just still be let go?
Yeah, we're just not going to agree. I just don't. First of all, she's not doing the act. Many times she's being forced into that situation by someone paying for that abortion, such as someone that she might have had a relationship with, or even in terrible pimps also do it as well. But we're not going to agree because I think our posture on abortion should be compassion for the women that have abortions and get abortions, and justice for the industry that lies to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hi. I'm Rachel. Already off the bat, I do not agree with a lot of politically what I'm going to have to say, but I'm a part of Bring Pittsburgh, which is an organization that believes in having civil discussion without yelling at each other. So I actually have some friends from Turning Point back there, even though I am a registered Democrat. So what's up, Jesse? My question is actually for you today. First off, thanks for coming. Second, as a person of color, and as someone in the Senate, does it offend you whenever there's comments made about Kamala and some racial sensitivities on that? Does that offend you in any way or hurt you, or does that drive you to still try to be representative of your party, even when those comments are made by your party?
Give me a specific comment.
Okay, well, for example, the recent thing that was, if Kamala got elected, the White House would smell like curry. Does that offend you in any way, or is that just like drive for you to?
For the record, Trump did not say
No,
that.
Donald Trump did not say that, but it was still implied as a presidential election.
I'm a pretty thick-skinned guy. I can tell the difference between somebody who has an earnest joke and the person who actually happens to say that. I happen to notice he doesn't have ill will towards Indian people. But if you're gonna joke, my only rule is you better apply 360 degrees. Okay, you can't apply it selectively. Here's actually my view on this: is a lot of Indian Americans across the country actually have been somewhat disappointed for a long time about Kamala Harris's willingness to engage with to a lot of the concerns even of the Indian American community. I'll tell you what one of them are. Is related to merit.
That's hot.
Merit in
We're
getting
fluffing
into college. Merit
fluffing
in
it.
getting into jobs without regard to your skin color.
We're gonna
or
fluff
discrimination.
and serve.
Wherever the road takes you. Chevy is ready to drive you forward with pure power unleashed and future forward technology. Every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
now we are putting that together. Rice first. Pull you back in a minute. Alright. Beans.
Hey, Coach, how you been?
And then
Well, that's because you go
some greens.
That's kind of like my old man told me one time, man, the only thing better than crawfish dinner is fried crawfish.
And this is the end. A little comfort meal. It's supposed to be quick and easy. Wasn't that quick? But I digress. I am done for the night. Until next time. Bye, guys.